Oh man, today we're doing a Reddit video.
I would honestly feel less disrespected if my mom slid adoption papers across the table instead of serving me that tragic excuse for a pizza. That thing looks like the holographic meatloaf from SpongeBob. Fake, lifeless, and straight up pointless. Zero nutrition, zero flavor, zero dignity. You would get more value chewing on sidewalk pebbles than biting into that disaster. Welcome back, everybody. By now, most people have seen the Lunchable spin-off being pushed by Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI. They basically took something that was already borderline junk and said, let's remix it into deluxe junk. I call it lunch lean because it's acting like it's upgraded, but it's still walking around with the same weak resume. It's shiny packaging over the same energy. Now, don't twist my words. This part might get people heated. I still smash Lunchables at 20 years old. I grew up on them, and when those 2 a.m. munchies creep in or I'm too lazy to cook, they show up like a quick fix hero. Rip the box open, stack it up, and boom, mission handled. But let's be real for a second. You don't need a nutrition degree to know these things are not exactly athlete fuel. Name one pro who said they power up before the championship game with a stack of crackers and mystery meat. Exactly, none. If they did, they'd be fighting for survival before halftime even hit. Let's talk about it.
People buying Lunchables. A lot of people buying Lunchables. And you know what? We thought Lunchables, we can better that. We can make a better product that people can also afford and be happy to give to their kids.
Everybody already knows this stuff is packed with processed mystery ingredients and not something you should be eating every single day. That's common knowledge. But then this trio of YouTubers linked up and dropped something nobody was begging for and nobody was waiting on. They rolled out this so-called spin-off, and calling it a spin-off is being real generous because it's basically a carbon copy of Lunchables with a new face on the box. They copied it down to a science. Same layout, same vibe, same stack up. You could have at least switched the formula a little. I'm staring at the cover trying to spot the glow up, squinting, leaning in closer, might as well grab a magnifying glass. And what do I see? The same cheese slices, the same pepperoni placement, the same cracker lineup. Cheese for cheese, stack for stack. It's like they hit copy and paste and called it innovation. So now, people are asking, why are grown men arguing over Lunchables in the first place? Here's the twist. Logan Paul and the crew are pushing this idea that it's some kind of healthy upgrade for kids, like it's revolutionary, like it just dropped from the heavens in snack form. But when you peel back the hype, it's basically dressed up ration packs with influencer branding slapped on top. Now, I'm not a nutrition expert, not even close, but I watched a few breakdowns, and the funniest part, they're bragging about being healthier by 80 calories. 80! Like that tiny gap suddenly turns it into a fitness meal plan? Come on now.
Announcement, there we go. Here's the context we need. So, obviously released Launchly, and DanTDM replied. This is what he had to say.
What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their lives? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better. Do better.
I'm sorry, what is 80 calories really doing here? Is that supposed to change lives or just make one single hair fall off my head? Who sat at a whiteboard, drew this up, and said, yeah, this right here is revolutionary? Like, be serious for a second. And it doesn't stop there. They start trying to clown Lunchables over the most random stuff, like the packaging. But instead of looking clever, they just end up looking goofy. Talking like they reinvented the snack aisle when all they did was reshuffle the same pieces. First we get Lunch Lean's flavorful combos versus Lunchables' standard picks. Flavorful combos? Endless options? Come on now. You copied the same meal setups and swapped the drink with your bright-colored sports bottle. That's not innovation, that's remixing the same track with louder bass. Same crackers, same meat, same cheese stack. Then they hype up the bold packaging, like that's the main event. Bright colors, loud fonts, big energy. Meanwhile, the other brand is bland and boring. Since when did we start judging food by who wins a graphic design contest? Are we eating the box or what's inside it? Because last time I checked, cardboard doesn't add protein. And just when you think the cringe meter can't go higher, they drop lines about having big gestures while the leading brand only delivers mid-moments. What does that even mean? Is the cheese supposed to clap when I open it? Is the cracker doing backflips? These buzzwords sound dramatic but say absolutely nothing. All that flashy talk, and somehow we're supposed to believe this is a snack breakthrough. It's loud branding dressed up as progress. Now, switching gears for a second, I've been locked in with my music and podcasts lately using Raycon's everyday earbuds, and they've been solid. If you've been thinking about grabbing a pair, this is actually a good time because they just dropped an updated version with new features and extra comfort, so you can rock them for hours without your ears begging for mercy. Some of the new features are actually solid. You've got multi-point connectivity, which lets you connect to 2 devices at the same time, so you can bounce between your phone and laptop without playing musical chairs with Bluetooth. And the battery life? A wild 32 hours. That's enough juice to get through long edits, long flights, or a full day of back-to-back playlists without stressing. But my personal favorite has to be that quick charge feature. 10 minutes on the charger gives you over 90 minutes of playtime. That's clutch when you're in a rush and forgot to plug them in overnight. I use them while editing videos or watching YouTube, and I don't have to sit there nervously waiting for that low battery warning to ruin the vibe.
DanTDM came through with his tweet, so I was like, alright, I gotta reply to this. So this is what I said. Looks like crap to me, while showing his toys that he sold to kids. How does this benefit your fans, Dan? Now, obviously, people didn't realize that I was shining a mirror in his face. Instead, they were like,
Wait, you did the same as Dan. You made toys with Tube Heroes.
and yes, that's fair. But I'm not the one complaining. But I'm not the one complaining.
But I'm not the one complaining.
They also stepped it up with the ergonomic design. These are built to fit a wide range of ears comfortably, and the optimized gel tips help you lock in that custom fit. No awkward slipping, no constant adjusting, just smooth listening. And let's not act like looks don't matter. Raycon came ready with options. Blush, violet, royal blue, classic carbon black, whatever matches your style, they probably got it. Even the protective cases come in different styles to keep your earbuds safe if you fumble them. If you're thinking about grabbing a pair of Raycon's everyday earbuds for daily use, you can hit the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/bry to get 20 to 50% off site-wide. Now here's where things get interesting again. When this snack brand launched, the guys dropped a public statement talking about how they wanted to impact the next generation and change lunchtime forever. Yes, they really said that. They're picturing cafeteria tables covered in their boxes like it's some kind of snack takeover. That's a bold vision for something that's basically crackers, cheese, and hype wrapped in shiny packaging. Logan Paul even dropped his own statement into the mix, and reading it felt so dramatic it almost sounded like he thought he was delivering a life-changing speech instead of promoting snack packs. The tone was heavy, like this was some world-shifting movement and not crackers and cheese in a shiny box. It was way deeper than it ever needed to be. Then KSI stepped up with a message that sounded even more artificial than the food they're selling. And that's why he's the main focus here, because out of everyone involved, he looked the most rattled once this product hit the shelves. The backlash came fast and loud. Big creators, small creators, everyday viewers, everybody had something to say. One of those voices was DanTDM, basically YouTube royalty. He rarely jumps into drama, so the fact that he spoke up tells you how wild this rollout looked. He called it a soulless cash grab, plain and simple. The criticism wasn't complicated. It felt like they trimmed a tiny bit of sugar and tried to rebrand the whole thing as a better choice, when in reality, both versions still aren't exactly health food. Dan summed it up in a way that hit hard. What happened to the YouTubers? And this is selling stuff for the sake of making money, so simple. Then he asked the real question, how does this benefit their fans? He didn't sugarcoat it. He pointed out that selling flashy products to young audiences who trust you comes with responsibility. His message was basically, do better. He said what a lot of people were already thinking. And just when it seemed like the criticism would simmer down, that's when the main character of this whole situation, KSI, fully stepped into the spotlight and turned the temperature even more up. After the launch, Logan and Jimmy stayed mostly quiet, maybe a couple small replies here and there after editing, but nothing loud first. Logan eventually dropped the response video, and let's just say he was writing hard in defense of KSI. The whole thing felt like a loyalty speech with extra glaze on top. It was intense, dramatic, and low-key uncomfortable to watch unfold. KSI, though, completely different energy. He jumped on Twitter and went full chaos mode. Rapid posts, heated replies, zero chill. And out of the whole trio, his reaction hit the worst. His videos started stacking up more dislikes than likes, which is never a good look. The timeline was on fire, and he kept pouring gasoline on it. Then he went straight at DanTDM. KSI posted a picture of Dan's toy figures and called them crap, trying to flip the argument. The wild part, KSI sells similar figures from the same type of company. That comparison made no sense. Collectible toys and snack food are not the same lane. A few minifigures sitting on a shelf aren't affecting anyone, but pushing heavily processed food while marketing it like a lifestyle choice, that's a whole different conversation. Instead of slowing down, KSI doubled down. He tried to call out Dan for once sponsoring a candy company in a video aimed at a younger audience, like that was supposed to be some massive gotcha moment. Suddenly, he's painting Dan like the next Willy Wonka or something. But here's the detail that got skipped. That video was from 9 years ago, and the candy featured in it a one-time sponsor deal. Not a full brand launch, not a long-term product line, not a whole company built around it. Trying to drag up a nearly decade-old one-off promotion to defend a brand new product rollout just didn't land the way he thought it would. It came off messy, rushed, and way more emotional than strategic. You know what? Since we're digging up old history, let's rewind the clock on Logan too. 9 years ago? Yeah, exactly. Funny how selective memory kicks in when it's convenient. And here's the real difference. Taking a one-time sponsor deal is not the same as being a co-owner of a company that's actively pushing a product while calling it a healthier choice for young fans. That's two completely different levels of responsibility. One is a quick brand deal. The other is building and defending the whole machine. In Dan's old video, he never once claimed candy was healthy. Not one time. Because everybody already knows candy is candy. It's a treat. Nobody's pretending it's a balanced meal. If the real mission is to make healthier food, maybe start with actual fresh ingredients instead of remixing processed stacks and slapping buzzwords on the box. That would hit way harder. Logan also dropped a response trying to frame this whole thing like he deserves an award for assembling a turkey and cracker combo. The tone was way too self-congratulatory for what we're talking about here. Let's not act like stacking deli meat is some humanitarian breakthrough. And here's the wild part. Dan posted one tweet. One. Then he went completely silent. No follow-up rant, no 10-part series, nothing. Meanwhile, KSI just kept going and going. It's like that single sentence echoed in his head non-stop. The reaction felt way louder than the original criticism. For someone known as a fearless fighter in the ring, this response looked overly emotional online. All this back and forth over one calm tweet. Instead of letting it breathe, KSI dropped a full response video the very next day, positioning himself as the one under attack. The energy shifted from confident brand owner to defensive mode real quick. And that's what made the whole situation feel messy. One short comment sparked a chain reaction that probably could have been handled with a simple, measured reply, but instead it turned into a full-blown online saga. He titled the video,
"Hey everyone, I'm gonna try and make this quick. Me versus Dennis. It's just not gonna happen March 29th, man. I've tried my hardest, but my body has legit just given up. I'm currently in bed, taking antibiotics, trying to recover, but I'm struggling. I'm coughing up greenish yellow shit all the time. My sinuses are hurting to the point where I need ibuprofen every day. The tension headaches right here that I'm getting are more painful than you can imagine. I'm using Sudafed daily. I've tried sparring and training and my body just feels weak. My stamina is just falling off a cliff. I can't even taste right now or smell. Basically, I'm f***ed. I've been ill for almost 3 weeks and it's just not got better. You know, I've had doctors come around to try and decipher what is going on. And honestly, I've never been this ill for this long in my life and I hate it. I feel useless and it's depressing."
Everybody hates us right now, and the whole vibe felt chaotic from the jump. Instead of calmly addressing the criticism, he kept breaking into these long, exaggerated laughs every time a serious point came up. It didn't come across confident. It felt forced, like someone trying way too hard to play it cool under pressure. The energy was off from the start. And dropping that video definitely didn't help his case. The reception was rough, seriously rough. The dislikes were stacking up fast, way outpacing the likes. We're talking hundreds of thousands of thumbs down compared to a much smaller wave of support. That ratio alone tells you people were not buying what he was selling. Not even 10 seconds in, and there were already multiple fake-sounding chuckles. He opens the video with this stiff laugh, says he's scrolling through Reddit, then laughs again like it's a sitcom cue. It felt less like a confident response and more like someone stalling for time. The delivery just didn't match the situation. There are full compilations floating around of him giggling through serious moments in that same video. Every cut, another laugh. Every criticism, another forced reaction. Instead of addressing points clearly, the vibe turned theatrical real quick. It made the whole thing harder to take seriously. And here's the bigger point. If the goal was truly to create something better, why not actually step into a lane that makes sense? Compete with high-protein snacks, yogurt brands, popcorn, trail mix, options that at least lean into the health angle without confusion. There are ways to innovate without repackaging something that already exists and calling it groundbreaking. Because when you market something as a major upgrade, people expect real change, not just louder branding and defensive energy. And that's why this whole situation exploded the way it did. You can call it better as much as you want, but that doesn't magically make it true. I'd honestly pass on the whole box before taking even a single crumb off that cracker stack. Hype doesn't change taste, and branding doesn't rewrite reality. KSI, you literally printed mid-moments on your own packaging. That alone makes it wild to call anyone else cringe. And let's be real, teaming up with Logan Paul and Mr. Beast, two creators who've both had public controversies tied to their business moves, doesn't exactly scream spotless track record. So when people question the motives, why act shocked? What's strange is how defensive it got the second respected creators with clean reputations spoke up. If your product is solid, criticism shouldn't hit that deep. But when multiple people point at something and say it looks like a rushed copy, maybe that's worth reflecting on instead of firing back emotionally. If a kid presented this as a gourmet breakthrough on a cooking show, judges would probably question the creativity, because visually it doesn't look groundbreaking. It looks like something we've all seen before, just rebranded with louder colors. So why be surprised when the feedback isn't glowing? And the reactions didn't help. Every time someone made a solid point, it turned into mimicry and sarcastic voices instead of a real response. That's not debate, that's dodging. Stretching a back and forth over one single tweet for more than a week just made it feel dragged out. At some point, you're not defending the product anymore, you're just arguing with a wall. You can say you can handle criticism, but everything we've seen says otherwise. One tweet set off a 2-week spiral. That's not confidence, that's reacting off emotion. If the product was solid and the message was clear, you wouldn't need a defensive tour to explain it. For days, it's been non-stop complaining that people aren't praising the launch like it's some cultural masterpiece. But here's the thing, you can't demand applause, especially when the product looks almost identical to what's already on shelves. If people call it a copy, you can't act stunned.
I feel like I've let so many people down. I haven't been able to post any YouTube videos to help promote the fight because I've just been feeling so shit. I'm just sick of being sick, man. And yeah, I'm sorry. I wanna move the fight to another day because, you know, I still want to knock out Dylan Dennis. And yeah, I didn't train this hard for nothing. Either way, I want to say sorry to everyone at Misfits, everyone at The Zone. I want to say sorry to the Sidemen for not being in as many videos as I'd like to be. And most importantly, I want to say sorry to the fans.
Now, I'll admit this, I'm not a nutrition expert. I'm not out here counting macros or breaking down ingredient labels daily. So instead of pretending I know everything, I looked at breakdowns from actual professionals. One of the clearest analyses came from Dr. Mike, who went into detail about the ingredients and the marketing claims. And when you really listen to those comparisons, some of them are almost funny. It's not just the 80-calorie difference they keep flexing. In some cases, it's as small as 30 calories. 30! That's barely a shift, yet it's being framed like a total health revolution. Meanwhile, kids and teens actually need balanced nutrition, not clever calorie math. I'd play more of Dr. Mike's breakdown, but his explanations are long and well-sourced, and each clip would run for minutes because he actually backs up what he says. That's the difference. Loud marketing versus detailed analysis. One is hype, the other is homework. If you actually care about the science behind this food, go watch Dr. Mike's full breakdown. He goes through the numbers calmly and lays everything out step by step. No yelling, no gimmicks, just facts. One of the biggest points he highlighted was how many calories kids typically need in a proper lunch, somewhere around 600 to 700 depending on age and activity level. Now look back at what's printed on the box. The numbers aren't even close to that range. You're barely scratching halfway. To realistically meet that target, you'd have to grab 2, maybe even 3 of those packs to reach the bare minimum. And let's be honest, nobody's casually stacking multiple processed snack boxes just to hit the bare minimum and calling that a balanced meal. That complete lunch label starts looking real questionable when the math doesn't cooperate. Then there's the drink side of things. When you factor in the sodium levels, especially with beverages like Prime in the mix, it starts adding up fast. A few bottles in and you're already creeping towards daily limits without even realizing it. That's not exactly the health-focused image they're trying to promote. No matter which angle you spin it from, the numbers don't magically transform. If there was just a little more self-awareness in the rollout, maybe this wouldn't have blown up the way it did. Instead, it feels like digging in deeper when data is sitting right there for everyone to read. At this point, the drama isn't even about crackers and cheese anymore. It's about ego, reactions, and who's willing to step back and admit that maybe the overhyping might have gotten a little out of hand. And somehow, the back and forth with other creators keeps getting louder than the product itself. One's been accused of pulling shady moves in the past, another has had serious controversy tied to people on their team, and then there's you, mainly known for music and online content. But let's not pretend the record is spotless. CoffeeZilla has publicly brought up receipts and allegations about questionable crypto projects connected to you before. That's not random gossip, that's documented criticism that's still floating around. There have even been claims from former associates saying you encouraged others to jump into certain coin projects that later raised red flags. Whether you agree with those accusations or not, they're part of the public conversation. So when people question your credibility on a healthier choice product, you can't act shocked that skepticism shows up. You can imitate critics, laugh it off, and frame yourself as misunderstood all you want. But in that response video, there wasn't really a clear breakdown that disproved the core concerns. Instead, it turned into a week-long emotional spiral over one tweet. One sentence triggered all of this. And that's the wild part. The snack itself isn't even the main reason this blew up. It's the reaction. A small dent turned into a full-blown crater because of how it was handled. No expose needed, the damage came from the responses alone. Sometimes saying less is stronger, but this time it went the opposite direction. At the end of the day, this whole situation feels like a lesson in ego versus accountability. The internet will move on, but screenshots and ratios don't disappear that easy. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, and drop a comment letting me know what you think about the whole situation. I read more of them than you think. Appreciate every single one of you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.